Good evening and welcome to Innsbruck. I'm Charlie Bosco with Mike Langley alongside me. Now, we started out this morning, 9 o'clock this morning, beautiful blue skies. We finish it nearly 9 o'clock at night with the rain just beginning to come down in Innsbruck. Unfortunately, forecast to get a lot worse. But what a competition we've had. And in the women's competition, 3 women could win tonight in the Olympic combined. And in the men's, there are 2 men who could win it. We've been busily doing the maths while we've been off air. This is the starting order. The climbers coming out in reverse order to how they currently stand in the overall rankings from the 2 disciplines so far, speed and boulder. Claire Burfine will be first out. She'll be followed by Eike Tajima, Margot Hayes, Franziska Sterra, Laura Struckler and Julia Pantelieva will be out last. And it is those last 3 who can win here tonight. In the men's competition, there's only 2 men who can take the gold medal. Will Bosey will be out first, Yannick Fleury, Kai Harada, Kai Leitner. And then the 2 men vying for the win, Yoshiyuki Ogata and Meiichi Narasaki. If Meiichi Narasaki finishes on the podium, he claims the overall title.
Great competition so far then in the junior category. Speed was really interesting, boulder was fascinating and a really good bouldering round. Hard, no individual climber in the men's. All the women's went away with 4 tops. 3 tops was what got you through in a really good position. 3 tops in not too many attempts and 51 moves ahead of the women, 42 in the men, in for a fascinating junior final here tonight. Crowd slowly filtering out of the Kletter Centre here in Innsbruck for one last dance here today.
Yeah, just to remind you of the scores, the way the Olympic format works is that your score is your rank from that discipline. So if you are first in speed, your score is 1. If you're second in bouldering, your score is 2. At the end, your 3 scores, your 3 rankings get multiplied. So 1 times 2 times whatever you do in the lead. So for example, 5th, be 1 times 2 times 5 is 10. So that's how the scores work. We've been number crunching while we've been off air. There was you thinking we just laze around. Far from it, the calculators have been out, and Meiichi Narasaki, he won the speed, he won the boulder. He has 1 point. That his score currently is at 1. It's as good as it gets. Yoshiyuki Ogata was second in both disciplines. He has 4, 2 by 2. Kai Leitner was third in both. He has 9. Kai Harada was 4th in both. He has 16. Will Bosey was 5th in speed, 6th in boulder, 30 for him. Yannick Fleury, meanwhile, 6th in speed, 5th in boulder, also 30 for him. That means that Meiichi Narasaki, should he finish on the podium, if he takes 3rd place, his score will be 3, so he still wins the overall combined. However, if he finishes lower down than that, it opens the door for Yoshiyuki Ogata and Kai Leitner. In the women's competition, Julia Pantelieva, 1st in the speed, 2nd in the boulder, the clear favourite going into this event, but also mathematically able to win. Franziska Sterra, 2nd in the speed, 4th in the bouldering. She's got 8 points. 3rd in the speed, 1st in the bouldering for Laura Struckler on 3. Lower down the order, Eike Tajima, Margot Hayes and Claire Burfine, 24, 15 and 30 respectively. None of them can take the title here this evening, so it's 3 women and 2 men dueling it out. And as we see, first good look at these 2 routes here in Innsbruck. The men will follow the yellow holes up the blue volumes on the right hand side of the wall. The women are following the big line of red holes just off centre to the left. Extraordinary women's route. They crammed in 51 moves. It is a big lead wall here in Innsbruck, even so, to get 51 holds in, quite something. 42 in the men. We saw the reverse in the men's last night, very complicated route there. This time it's the women with the complicated route. As I say, they've got 51 holds. Great shot of there of the judges. They've had their work cut out all day here. You can see them working the top ropes hard. The observation period is complete. The first climbers are out. It's Will Bosey comes out and Claire Burfine. Yeah, so none of these climbers able to win tonight. Claire Burfine, many people's favourite, and I have to say mine, to win the overall title after her lead and boulder successes earlier in the week and a 4th place in the speed climbing. But she has not delivered on her current form here this evening. She is currently in 6th, ditto Will Bosey.
Will Bosey then opting to change his shoes out in the arena set with Claire Burfine. They've also been allowed to do that due to the weather. They've come out of the rain under the huge overhangs here in Innsbruck. Just come out, get the shoes ready, making sure the rubber's nice and dry. Claire got the Velcros. Will Bosey opting for the lace-up red chilies. Claire Burfing then have a bit of a shocker for all her standards in the speed. Started to come back into form in the second half of the bouldering. Had a real heartbreak on the last move of the final boulder. Would have put it into a good position coming through into this final climb of the day. We are on to the routes end. This is the junior, the oldest category here for the Olympic combined. Final action of the day. Claire Burfing on the left on the red route and Will Bosey on the right.
Claire Burfing. 3 clips up, Will Bosey on the right hand side, it's women on the left, men on the right. The Olympic combined format for the second time today comes to an end on the lead wall. We had the youth Bs earlier, now it's the turn of the juniors. Tomorrow will be the youth A. We saw their speed earlier on. We have their lead and boulder to bring you tomorrow, and 20 athletes in that category, 20 men and 20 women.
Claire Burfing then on to this first section of pinches. Good bit of compression as Will Bosey is really quick out of the blocks. Terrible holes at the start of this men's route. You can see it in the bottom right side of your screen there. Really, really small crimps as he moves out of the volumes into the crimpier sections. Saw one of the route setters up here earlier. Safe to say he looked tired. Fair play, he has had a very, very long day, but they've made a few last minute adjustments and the pressure's been on here, and this is what we've seen with the Olympic format. Speed and boulder has been tough, but it comes down to the lead to see who takes the overall. A couple of people can win it here tonight in the men's. Will Bosey fighting really well down on the right hand side of skills. Claire Burfing looks really good. I had a look at this move a second ago. Quite a hard looking pocket move here for Claire Burfing. Seems to take it all in the stride. There's no such issue. I think the route setters have screwed something into the back of that right hand pocket to improve the quality of the hold. I know that hold is a pretty slopey pocket. Doesn't seem to have any issues with it though. Both climbers pretty much neck and neck on the wall. Good start here in the combined from both climbers.
Can't help thinking that Claire Burfing might be slightly frustrated with how it's gone this evening in Innsbruck, but 2 gold medals from earlier in the week. I think when she looks back she'll be pretty happy with her performance and see this combined event. Of course, the first day that this Olympic format's ever been tried in real life. I think she might look back and feel relatively satisfied and see this as a learning experience. The combined hasn't quite gone her way, but she had an absolutely mind-blowing Youth World Championships. And with 3 years out from the Olympics, as I say, this is a learning experience. It's not been her day, but there will be plenty more to come. A lot of people, including myself, been very impressed with this lady from Plano, Texas.
Well, the funny thing about her result in the speed was it just was a simple slip. She had already pretty much won the race with her opponent, who was looking very, very slow. It seemed to distract her, and it just slipped off. Claire Burfing really high up on the route here already. Both climbers just going at it. They've got absolutely nothing to lose. This is their final climbing here in Innsbruck. They will put their bodies on the line to get a good result now.
Yeah, I think the big takeaway perhaps for Claire Burfing is how to switch off from a bad result. It seemed like she never quite got back into the competition after that bad few moments in speed. But we shall see. As I say, wonderful 2 weeks in Innsbruck for her, with a slightly sour ending, but a top here or a superb performance in the lead would finish it nicely. Will Bosey, meanwhile, very happy to make the top 6, determined to enjoy the experience.
Yeah, both climbers managing to look pretty good up to this stage. They've had to work hard, but they've both manufactured pretty decent rest. They're pretty much neck and neck in terms of height on the wall. It's Claire Burfing leads the rest first. She moves off into the next section of the wall. Will Bosey currently, as we're looking at him, great silhouette of him on the wall there, just chilling out, straight leg, just having a bit of a rest. Managing to find a rest where it's a terrible hold that he's matching there to get a rest. Now he has a look into the next section. It's Claire Burfing. This is really interesting. She did win the overall. Her foot slip. It was a foot slip for Claire Burfing. She's off. That does end her competition. Fantastic effort on the route. It felt like she had a lot more in the tank, but just slipped. I'm sure we'll have another look. But it's Will Bosey now who's still going right into the top section of the route here. Will Bosey's got 42 moves in total ahead of him. He's right up into the top section now, well into the 30s. Will Bosey's looking pretty pumped, but keeps on fighting. Just drags that left volume, goes into the undercut, big power scream, and he's off there. I think he'll be pretty pleased with that. Big smiles all round.
42 moves on that men's route. That'll be around the 38 plus mark for Will Bosey, and Claire Burfing, that's somewhere around the 42, 43, 44 mark for her out of 51. Climbers falling off almost at exactly the same time. And yeah, interesting with Claire Burfing. As I say, to be honest, I thought she looked fairly unstoppable. Let's have another look. That was reaching up with the right hand, so I think that'll be 44 plus for her. We'll double check as it comes through. There's Will Bosey.
Just looked super boxed by the time he got to that undercut hold. Went for it with all 4 fingers. Index finger dropped off. He was looking so pumped, but it was an incredible fight. I think he would be really pleased with that final performance. The final climbing for him here in the World Youth Championships. You can see there as the lights spin round, the rain really coming down now, but the wall is dry. Semi-decent crowd staying out to enjoy the final climbing.
Yeah, I was just going to say about Claire Burfine. She looked utterly unbeatable to me. I really thought she would take the title here today, but mentally just never quite seemed to get over that speed performance. She'll be back though. The Olympics, less than 3 years away, this format being trialled. And I have to say, I think Claire Burfine's going to be absolutely in that conversation for people who can do well at the Olympics. Really enjoyed watching her climb. She's made massive progress from an already extremely high level last year in Guangzhou in China, and I think she will continue that progress. She's done here in Innsbruck though. We'll see where it leaves her. It won't leave her claiming the gold medal, but no doubt she will have learned a vast amount from this experience.
If you have an equal number of votes, the climbing time counts. And now, let's get up. Let's get up. Let's get it started.
Claire Burfine, that was a 44 plus for her and a 38 plus for Will Bosey.
Yannick Fleury then had a really good start to the bouldering round. Just seems like minutes ago. Really came out on fire there, flashed the first boulder. Not too many successes for him after that attempt.
Aika Tajima on the women's route, Yannick Fleury on the men's. Aika Tajima currently on 24, 5th in the overall standings. Can't win, but 4th and a 6th. If she could be top half in one of the disciplines, that would surely be a big confidence booster. Yannick Fleury, meanwhile, 6th and 5th, ditto for him. I can't help thinking he was a couple of moves away from a wonderful bouldering performance.
Yeah, I can't help but thinking as well, just reflecting on Will Bosey's performance on the right-hand yellow route, we could be seeing some tops here in the male junior category. Incredible lead climber still to come. Kai Harada, Kai Leitner, Yoshiyuki Gato and Maiti Narasaki. Maiti doesn't even look like it's possible to fall off here in the Olympic combined event. Now, time's going to tell. It was a staggering performance from Will. Aika Tajima then also looking really good here. She's really known as a lead climber over the other 2 disciplines, boulder and speed. Let's see if she can come into her own now on this red route. 51 moves for her to tackle. She's close to halfway up the wall, and you can see she's feeling the effects of the cold, just trying to warm up the hands on the back of her neck.
Yeah, the rain already subsided here in Innsbruck. It was forecast for a complete disaster this evening. It's not materialised. We had a bit of light drizzle. Now completely disappeared, not an umbrella in sight amongst the crowd. Yannick Fleury, bottom right of your screen. Aika Tajima, main screen.
Tajima managing to manufacture a rest there out of the left heel and a right toe drag. Looking really happy on the crimps at the moment. Big screams for both athletes. Not a huge crowd here due to the weather, how late it is in the day, but putting in a good showing nonetheless. And Aika Tajima really starting to fight now. She's probably just over halfway on the wall. And on the bottom of your right hand of your screen, Yannick Fleury really putting on a good show here. He's looking good, but he's starting to look really pumped. He's got himself in a slight tangle here. Really high right heel hook. He's got a lot to do onto this next move. Got himself slightly wrong-handed as well. Goes up again with the right hand, but it wasn't enough. He got himself tangled. Like I said, he had the hands around the wrong way. Slight error in the sequences for him.
Yeah, so that will mean Will Bosey still in a early provisional lead. 4 climbers to come. Aika Tajima still on the wall in the women's competition on hold 37 of 51. She's still fighting. Expect nothing else, but she is off.
Yeah, I was looking at that move earlier. 3 volumes in a row. Squadron volumes and a huge jug out on the right. The way that she went out, hard to control herself here in the commentary box. I thought she had it, but just caught the fingertips and span off in a rather dramatic fashion. I think she'll be disappointed with that. Like I was saying, she's known for being a good lead climber, and I think she could have done a bit more there.
Yeah, she's clutching her neck there. It looked like an awkward fall. We saw her doing something similar earlier on as well. We're just waiting for her score to come through. She will be behind Claire Burfind. What a final four that is still to come. See it there, 38 plus she ends up with. Margot Hayes, Franziska Sarah, Laura Stuckler and Julia Pantelieva still to come. Kai Harada out onto the men's route. Margot Hayes, there she is. Mike said it in the bouldering, looks like she's really up for this. She won't win the gold medal, she's currently on 15. But we shall see.
Just waiting for my scoring system to update here. Seems a bit slower. I think everyone's computers are slowly dying through the hours and hours of live stream we've had today. Hopefully be able to bring up-to-date scores as we go through this final event. I'm sure we'll have no problems. Just a minute, we'll get the scores back up and running.
Yeah, she's still in the contention for a podium spot, Margot Hayes. Plenty to play for. Currently sitting on 15, 5th in the speed, 3rd in the boulder. She's still just reading the route. She's actually, you can see her there, backing into the judges' table. I've lost track of her at the foot of the wall.
Yeah, due to the rain, the judges have moved themselves forward 10 metres or so. Staying out of the way, keeping the papers dry. Judges got a tough job here tonight. Seen a few technical incidents in this round earlier, especially in the speed, a few electronical issues, a couple of disputed false starts. We got there in the end though, no such issues in the end. The electronic system completely reliable, as always, it seems, in terms of determining when the false starts was or not. So it's Kai Harada then, and Margot Hayes.
Yeah, Margot Hayes, again, along with her compatriot Claire Burfind, absolutely in that conversation of climbers to keep a very, very close eye on. Kai Harada making good progress, centre of the screen. It's Margot Hayes, bottom right. Kai Leitner will be out next on the men's routes. It's Kai followed by Kai. Kai Harada 4th in the speed, 4th in the boulder. Hoping for better in the lead. Margot Hayes looking calm and composed on the lead route.
Really hope these climbers have left something in the tank. We saw Margot Hayes having a really long, hard battle in the bouldering, especially on the final boulder. Kept going right to the death. We see Kai Harada makes the big dynamic moves, once with the left, over with the right hand. I was going to say, yeah, Margot Hayes put in a real fight in the bouldering to try and get the best possible position leading into this lead final. In the end, she struggled on the 4th boulder, but like I say, hope she's left some energy in the tank, some skin on the fingers. I'm sure she'll be going at it hell for leather in this final route. Nothing to lose at this stage.
Kai Harada getting some encouragement. Gamba Gamba says the venue MC. He's only on hold 18, there's 42 on this route. Just take a second to compose himself before launching up. Already he's onto hole 21, climbing quickly once he's underway. He made the most of the vague rest set. Margot Hayes out on the women's route. She's up to hold 30. 52 on this women's route. Extraordinarily long and complex route for the women, especially when they've only got 6 minutes to figure it out.
Yeah, quite contrasting styles here. The men have got more of what I'd say a traditional lead difficulty route. Not too many huge volumes, quite technical, quite a lot of small holds, a lot of classic shapes as the moves go through. Kai Harada just having a look at his options here. This is one of the holes the route set's twisted actually. They've made that more vertical to make the route a bit harder. In the women's route, ton of volume, so many features. Mark Hayes moves into the top section here. She's got a nice crimp with the right hand, but needs to move into these next 3 squads of volumes out on the left. Coming up to that big jug that we saw Akia Tajima falling off of. It was a real surprise to see her falling off there. Kai Harada just having a look at his various options here. Like I say, quite classic moves here in the men's junior final. Nice to see a contrasting set of styles employed by the route setters throughout the week. It's not all circus tricks and big volumes.
We mentioned it before, vastly experienced route setting team here in Innsbruck. Rani Fichtendier, head of the lead route setters. He's got a very, very strong team alongside him, including Matthias Wojcik. He was the chief route setter, you might remember, in Nanjing in the bouldering earlier this year, back in April, and we lose Margot Hayes.
Margot Hayes fires out to the right-hand side, exactly the same position where we lost Tajima.
That's going to be second place for Margot Hayes as it stands. 3 climbers still to go.
I think we've almost underestimated that move. The way that the first climber out, Claire Burfine, had no issues on it at all, just went across, made it look really easy. We read it as a big jump. 2 climbers are now fallen off that move, so that looks like one of the first real stopper moves. All eyes on Kai Harada then. He's really fighting down here. He's really looking for options for his feet. He hasn't really got any and comes off. Kai Harada down as well. Really seemed to lose his feet.
That's going to be 3rd place for him out of 3 climbers so far. We'll wait for the scores to be confirmed. Of course, we do get given a route map from the route setters. It's not always entirely up to date. They do make some last-minute changes, but I'm fairly sure that'll be a 3rd place for him.
Have a look at Margot Hayes. Spectacular fall out of the jug there. She had it and just slipped out. And this is Kai Harada. This is what we saw with Yannick Fleury, really struggling with the feet on that section. He'll come one move slightly down compared to Fleury there. He had the next hold up with his right hand. We saw from Will Bosey that hold really needed with the left, but spectacular fall there from Margot Hayes. Puts her into 2nd place with 39 plus. Claire Burfine still up the top there, 44 plus with 3 climbers still to come. Will Bosey, who came out first, puts in an early good performance, 38 plus. Yannick Fleury, like I said, just behind him.
So Kyle Leitner, here he comes onto the stage. He can't win the overall title here in Innsbruck. He currently has 9 points. He was 3rd in the speed, 3rd in the boulder, so that's 9. Even if he gets a 1 here in the lead, 1 times 9, obviously his score would be 9. But Meichi Narasaki currently on 1. The worst he can get is 6. So the worst score he can get is 6. So Kai can't catch him, he can't win. But as things stand, he came into this in a podium position and he can solidify that here. Francisca Sterra, she can win. She's on 8 points. She could end up on 8 points if she gets a 1 next to her name here. Provided results went her way with Laura Strucker and Julia Pantelieva, that could be enough. All she can do is climb to her maximum. Wonder how much of a factor fatigue will play. As I mentioned, during the bouldering and the Youth B, fatigue not a huge factor because the boulders were too easy. Certainly not an accusation you could level at the route setters for this junior category. The climbers will be feeling that. They've basically done a World Cup final in the bouldering, as well as a few runs on the speed wall, and now they're on a lead wall.
It's so strange to see, you know, this is what we're going to have to get used to now. Climbers doing all 3 disciplines back to back. Fitness must be absolutely insane, and the mindset to be able to flick between the different disciplines as well. Endurance, these guys have to go for a hell of a day. It'll be interesting to talk to some of them tomorrow, see how they're feeling at the end of this.
Yeah, I'll try and have a word with Kyle Leitner if I run into him tomorrow. Hopefully he'll be here.
He'll probably be here training.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, trying to get a real workout instead of speed climbing a World Cup final in the boulder and then a World Cup final in the lead. He'd be looking for some proper training, trying to get some fitness back. He's underway anyway, men's route, bottom right of your screen.
Francisca Sterra then also underway from the Austrian Federation, putting in a good shout here early on in the route. Actually seems to be working quite hard already. Obviously plenty of Austrian support for her. Starting to bite the lip, starting to try hard now. See why there's so many on the routes. The holds really closely packed together there. A lot of hold, a lot of intermediates, but a lot of bad pinches as well. Now she gets onto a half decent in cut, start to relax the right arm just a touch. Real endurance test piece here for the ladies. Oh, she's off. She seems to have just gone up to a foothold before going up with the right hand again. That was quite interesting. That was between 30 and 31.
Certainly only third for her. Let's have a look as the scores update. Not really anticipating a fall at that stage, I have to be honest. But yeah, as Mike said, somewhere in the 31, 32 range.
I think this route could really be up Kai Leitner's street. Once he seems to find his bag, the style of route that he likes, same as in the bouldering, once he finds the boulder he likes, he really seems to be able to dominate. He looks so casual up there at the moment, just taking a moment, just resting those long arms of his, taking on the chalk, just letting the lactic acid flow out. Fresh blood come in. Kai Leitner is only a third of the way up the wall at the moment and managing to take a huge rest here. Goes directly up with the left hand. We've seen that throughout this week. Kai Leitner skipping out holes, deciding on the best sequence for him. Classic rollover shape there into the left hand, Gaston. Dropping out with the right foot. Nice moves here in the male junior category final. Kai Leitner manages to get a super high left foot and an incredibly high drop knee. Look at that position, showing his flexibility. So much leg to get into that gap.
Yes. As you mentioned, very long limbs, Kai Leitner, but putting them to good use at this stage. Laura Stuckler just been announced by the venue MC. She'll come out, have her 40-second observation period, and then she'll get cracking on the women's route. And she also absolutely in a position to win here. Currently with a score of 3, she was top in the bouldering, she was third in the speed. It is so tight. Francisca Sterra won't have done enough here. She's out of it. It's a 2-horse race in the men for the title and a 2-horse race in the women. Kai Leitner, though, what can he do here in Innsbruck?
Kai Leitner getting into the place where we saw Yannick Fleury, Kai Harada and William Bosey start to struggle. Will Bosey 2 moves ahead of this position at the moment, so Kai Leitner potentially pushing for a high point. It really seems to be the feet here that cause problems. Kai Leitner's managed to reverse that sequence. This is where Will Bosey took a really good rest, managing to match that hold. That hold underneath that volume looks absolutely tiny in Kai Leitner's hands. Pushes on through to the next section then. Still taking on chalk and looking relatively relaxed. That seems to be Kai's style. Never quite know when he's going to come off. Crosses over the left hand now. He's got the hold in the left hand. That's where he wants it. Big move up. That's past Will Bosey's high point. So Kai Leitner looking really good here. Another move in the bank with the left hand. Sorry, Will Bosey got actually 2 moves higher than that. My mistake. And Kai Leitner is off. Doesn't catch up with Will Bosey's high point. Nicely done. It's a really good burn from Kai Leitner. Like I said, you're never quite sure when he's going to come off. All eyes on the Austrian now then. In the centre of the stage is hers. Laura Stuckler.
Kai Leitner, he moves into second place, 37 plus for him, 38 plus for Will Bosey. Laura Stuckler. She's confirming Francisca Sterra's score at 33 plus, 4th out of 4 so far for her. Laura Stuckler can win this competition. She can win the Olympic format combined here in Innsbruck, but she needs a very strong performance.
Needs a strong performance, needs to find a very high point on the wall here, you must think. With Julia Panteleva still to come.
Just quickly, Mike, I'm just trying to do my maths as fast as I can on the fly. If Laura Stuckler can take 4th, that would put her on a score of 12. If Julia Panteleva then got 6th, that would put her on a score of 12, and Laura Stuckler would win, because in a head-to-head competition she would have won in more disciplines than Julia Panteleva. So Laura Stuckler, even 4th, could be enough for her. Unlikely to be, but could be.
Good work in the booth there from Charlie Bosco on the pen and paper, on the maths. There's Laura Stockler into the top section then. Huge support for her. Eardrums nearly burst next to the speaker here as the local DJ gives it absolutely everything he's got for one of the last times here in the competition. Looking really pumped now, just starting to breathe heavily. Little finger just dropping off there on the left hand. Seems to manufacture a bit of a decent rest here. Now it starts to get really hard.
Yeah, 38 plus the mark for third, 39 plus for second, 44 plus. She wants to equal Claire Burfind. By my reckoning, that is her on hold 36. So she's not yet into third place.
The music is really tense now as she heads towards this next volume and out to that jug where we saw Margot Hayes and Tajima fall off.
That big volcano hold on the top right there, that's hold number 40. So that, if she can get as far as that, that'll put her into second place in the lead. She's looking very in control, but this is a big move. This is where we saw Margot Hayes spat off. Laura Stockley sticks it. She will be second here. That means the worst that she can finish is third, because we've got one more climber to come.
Great moment there from Laura Stockley. Hit the jug and hit it with ease. Just relaxed back, took in the crowd, gave them a wave. They responded in kind. Good moment here to finish off her performance. Good scenes here for the junior final in the lead. It's been a great competition all the way through as Yoshiyuki Ogata is tackling his route down on the right hand side of your screen.
That's 41 for Laura Stockler. Make that 42. Now the worst she can finish this lead is in third place. The worst score she can get is 9. The pressure will be on Yulia Panteleva. Laura Stockler fighting here with all she's got. That's hole 45 she's eyeing up. She's nailed that. Heading for 46. That will be enough for her to take the lead. She will be at least second in the lead climbing.
That's the high point to aim then for the final climber out. Going to be really interesting here. Will we have an Austrian on top of the podium? Let's have another look. Laura Stockler then, she's just really kept her form together, managed to get a good rest down low, fired up to that hold, but you can see the tick mark is slightly higher up on that hold, onto the top right. As we focus on Yoshiyuki Ogata, already won a lead campaign here this week in the World Youth Championships. That was just last night, and here he is again fighting it out on this massive lead wall here. In the spotlight once again, the Japanese athlete. Certainly won't be the last time we're saying that, I don't think. Fantastic performance from him throughout the three disciplines here. Yoshiyuki came through with the bouldering of 3 tops in 3 attempts. 3 tops in 17 attempts, sorry, 3 bonuses in 17. Put in an incredible amount of burns earlier in the bouldering, but got him a good result in the end. Let's see if that's had any effect on him. What's his recovery like? What's his skin like after having such a huge stack of attempts on one of the starts of those boulders earlier on in the bouldering? Currently chasing down Will Bosey, 38 plus. Kai Leitner is sitting in second with 37 plus.
Yoshiyuki Ogata absolutely has to take the lead here to stand a chance.
Has to put an incredible performance in here. If he could put in a top, it would really pile on the pressure for Maichi Narasaki, who's currently won the speed and he won the boulder. Let's have a look at this. He's getting close to the high point of William Bosey. Bosey got the next hole, got into the undercut. That's the hold. Will Bosey fell off. Yoshiyuki Ogata gets another move in the bank. Up with the right hand. That's a high point. One more move. Oh, and he just slips. Oh, he nearly secured it there. The left foot, I think it was, that blew. Pressure's going to be on now. Maichi Narasaki. Let's have another look. He was so high on the top of the route. Just had the left toe pointing down just on the side of one of those dual texture holds. For a moment there, I thought he was going to hold it. Wasn't meant to be. In the final climber out then. Here we go. Action-packed lead finals here. Yulia Panteleva has it all to do. This is it then, the final climbers out. Yulia Panteleva through this first section of pinches. Did so well earlier in the competition. Can she take that good form through to this final climb of the weekend for her? Finished the bouldering with 2 tops in 2 attempts.
Yeah, Julia Panteleva, out she comes.
Fascinating to see the ability of these athletes to switch between the different disciplines. It's really interesting talent on display here. Harness on for the speed, harness off for the boulder, harness back on for the roots. Maichi Narasaki down on the right hand side of the screen, then putting his boots on liquid chalk at his side. Julia Panteleva just makes her way through this earlier section. Seems to be a route that really builds here in the women's route with that really hard move out to the bucket on the right that we've seen 2 athletes fall off already. Just see her looking up at the next session. Classic route climbing, just taking a moment, reading the next section before launching into it. So steep here. Once again, we're seeing that throughout the week here. Incredibly steep wall here, and lucky it is because the rain is still coming down. Panteleva then just looking for her options for clipping. Clipping at this stage of the competition is so crucial. So the crowd waits nervously because Laura Stockler is sitting in a very good position in this competition. Julia Panteleva's got it all to do. She's got to get very high on the route.
Okay, Mike, we're going to go down the mathematics road. Generally a dangerous road for me to tread, but we'll go there. Laura Stockler, as things stand, she was 3rd in the speed, she was 1st in the boulder. If she is 1st in the lead, that leaves her on a score of 3, and that means the best that Julia Panteleva could do, even if she was 2nd to Laura Stockler here in the lead, would be a score of 4. However, if Julia Panteleva wins, if she gets a high point in the lead, she will have a 1st in the speed, a 2nd in the boulder, and the 1st in the lead. That would be 2 points for her, and she would win. So basically, Julia Panteleva has to win here. If she is 2nd,
Julia Panteleva is starting to look incredibly pumped here, and she's
out of there.
Laura Stockler takes it then. The new overall Olympic format combined winner, an Austrian on top of the podium. Good work on the maths, that was really interesting. She's starting to look really tired there. You can't help but think this week's action has really drained her on that left crimp, minuscule crimp. It hit the next hole with the right, the little finger dropped off. She was in big trouble. Looked really gassed, really from a 1/3 of the way of the route up. So it's all on, all eyes to Maichi Narasaki then. He has it to win. He won the speed, he won the boulder with ease. Can he win here in the lead?
Yes, so Yoshiyuki Ogata, as success. I don't want to get carried away with the maths because I was too busy doing the maths, and suddenly Julia Panteleva was out of there. Laura Stockler, she will win the combined title, but in the men's competition, Maichi Narasaki, 1 in speed, 1 in boulder, as yet undecided in lead, but Yoshiyuki Ogata, 2 in speed, 2 in boulder. If he is 1 in lead, he ends up with a grand total of 4. So Maichi Narasaki only needs 4th or better here. He only needs to get to 4th. If he's 4th, it's enough. He will win by virtue of having won more of the disciplines than Yoshiyuki Ogata.
It's Kai Harada who's currently sitting in 4th with a score of 33 plus, which is just over the head wall. So we'll keep a really close eye on that one. Just double check we've got everything up to date here. Maichi Narasaki has it to do, but his current form tonight, he'll be heading towards the top of the wall, never mind a 33 plus, but it is Kai Harada who does sit in that position, so Maichi Narasaki's got to get more than 33 plus to go through and take the overall. Like I said, 33 plus is the set of holds that he's just approaching now. Maichi Narasaki could be in for the win here, unless something dramatic happens on this next move. He is starting to look a bit pumped here, he's looking slightly uncomfortable in that. I do believe that is hold 33. Oh, Campus is in hold 34. Pretty sure that's enough for Maichi Narasaki. He could well have taken the overall here, depending on how the route sets have scored it. No doubt now, though, moves into hold 35 and to 36. Maichi Narasaki, can we have a top from him? Starting to really battle now, and he comes off. It was a good show. He looks absolutely gassed as he comes off. Brilliant performance from him. A really good junior overall competition. Really enjoyed that. Let's have another look at the final moments from Maichi then. He went for the hill, towed it down, just dropped into the left hand. comes off, keeping the scores up to date.
Well, that is going to be very tight. We're going to see how the judges score that. Meiichi Narasaki needed 4th or better. Tense here. He gets 4th. Meiichi Narasaki nets himself 4th. That's 1st in the speed, 1st in the boulder. 1 times 1 times 4th in the lead equals 4. The same score for Yoshiyuki Ogata, but Meiichi Narasaki wins it on head-to-head because he finished ahead in 2 disciplines instead of 1. And there you see it, Laura Stuckler. She won in the lead. She wins the overall. Grand total of 3. Extraordinary performance from here. 2nd overall, Yulia Pantelieva, and 3rd overall, Francisca Sterra. Claire Burfine and Margot Hayes were 2nd and 3rd in the lead. And there you see it, Yoshiyuki Ogata takes 1st. Will Bosey in 2nd, Kai Leitner in 3rd, Meiichi Narasaki takes 4th, and with it the overall win. Yannick Floet and Kai Harada rounding out the top 6. Well, the maths was about as frantic as the action. Mike, we started our first live stream at 9 o'clock this morning. It's almost 9:30 at night. It's been the biggest day in climbing history and possibly one of the best.
Yeah, really enjoyed today. I mean, it's been absolutely epic. It's been epic for everybody, all the volunteers, all the judges, the climbers especially. Yeah, great rounds all the way through. Speed was good. Bouldering was excellent, really hard. Routes were hard. That's what we want to see. Great competition, and looking forward to the U-Phase tomorrow in the overall.
Well, if that's our first taste of the Olympic format, bring on the next 3 years. That's all I can say. We'll be back tomorrow with the remainder of the Youth A combined format competition. We'll see you then, starting at midday. Thank you for watching.